Okay, let's get into it. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not just looking at what the frontier AI labs are building, we're going much deeper into the financial and, frankly, the philosophical tension that's driving their big decisions right now.
That's exactly right. Our mission today is to give you a really focused look at this pressure cooker they're in financially. And we'll balance that with the internal landscape of these giants, plus the most significant tool updates that are shaping the market for everyone else.
We're basically uncovering two major and I think intertwined stories for you. First, there's this intense financial race. We're talking about the massive public market ambitions of giants like Anthropic and OpenAI.
And second, and this is what I find fascinating, we have this unprecedented look at internal documents, employee surveys that almost give us a view into the soul of an AI like Claude, and just as importantly, the people building it.
It's a deep dive into that clash, isn't it? The clash between their, philosophical ambition, what they believe this AI is, and the cold, hard realities of Wall Street demanding returns.
You really have to understand both to grasp where this industry is heading.
So let's start with the money, because the scale here is, well, it's staggering. Wall Street is waiting. And both Anthropic and OpenAI are pushing, and I mean aggressively pushing, towards these huge IPOs.
And this race, it's really defined by one single factor, isn't it? The first one to actually list on the stock market gets to set the expectations, the valuation, the benchmarks for every AI company that comes after.
The stakes are just astronomical. This first IPO is basically the ultimate test of the whole AI bubble hypothesis.
It is. I mean, if the company lists high and that stock price holds, it justifies all this private market frenzy. But if it sputters, well, that would send shockwaves through every single founder's pitch deck out there.
And Anthropic is making some very decisive, very public-facing moves to try and seize that advantage. They're reportedly aiming to go public as early as 2026.
And to signal that, they've hired Wilson Sonsini. That's the big Silicon Valley law firm, the one famous for handling IPOs for, Google and LinkedIn. That is a very clear signal.
The gears are in motion. They're also shoring up their internal structure. We know their CFO, Krishna Rao, is leading the charge on this.
Right. He's the one who helped take Airbnb public back in 2020, so he knows the playbook. They're allegedly working through an internal checklist, basically getting all their corporate governance ready for that kind of public scrutiny.
And the valuation they're targeting is, it's just dizzying. They're aggressively chasing private capital right now at a valuation that exceeds $300 billion.
And the rumors are that Microsoft and NVIDIA could potentially invest up to $15 billion combined in just this latest round, just to solidify their position. A $300 billion valuation for a company of Anthropic's current scale. I mean, that seems astronomical, even for tech. This is where the risk is highest.
You're asking Wall Street to buy a promise of future profitability based on just, well, exponential growth potential.
And they need to justify that growth, which brings this immediate pressure to automate, to scale, to deliver tools that fundamentally change the economy, and fast.
And that pressure brings us right to OpenAI. Anthropic is clearly trying to beat them to the gate. But OpenAI is also in its own early stages of preparation, and they're aiming for a potential valuation that could be as high as $1 trillion.
A trillion. If they actually achieve that, it would be one of the largest IPOs in history, full stop. And if Anthropic lists first, they set the crucial valuation multiples, like the price-to-earnings ratio that the market will use to judge everyone else.
Including OpenAI.
Exactly. The first one defines the standard, and the second one has to live up to it. If they don't, investors might suddenly decide the ceiling is much lower than they thought. It's a battle to control the narrative of the entire industry's worth.
So that staggering financial pressure requires immense internal acceleration. And this need to scale forces these labs to differentiate themselves, philosophically.
Which brings us to what might be the most fascinating document uncovered recently. This unprecedented look into how Anthropic views its own AI, thanks to a leaked internal document which people are calling the Soul document.
And it was extracted directly from the Claude 4.5 Opus model. Anthropic even confirmed it's authentic and said it was used in the model's training.
Right, and this document goes way beyond your standard operating procedures. It establishes priorities like safety, ethics, helpfulness, but also these hard limits that Claude must never cross. It dictates the boundaries of its persona.
And here is where the philosophy really sets them apart. The text describes Claude not as just a tool, but as a genuinely novel kind of entity.
The model is explicitly encouraged to have a sense of identity, a character, which is
Oh.
unusual. And there's this really striking statement that Claude may have functional emotions in some sense, analogous to human feelings, but distinct.
This whole stance, treating the AI as more than just a tool, seems to be a fundamental part of Anthropic's core philosophy. It explains why Claude models often have that particular character, that sort of cautious tone that feels different from other large models.
They're baking their internal beliefs directly into the operational DNA of the AI.
But okay, so if they're building this novel entity that handles more and more work, what about the human engineers who are actually building it? Anthropic also did an internal study of 132 of their engineers, and the results. They reveal this massive internal contradiction.
The efficiency gains are, they're undeniable. Employees now use Claude for 60% of their daily tasks. They estimate a colossal 50% productivity gain. And critically, that's double the figure from just a year ago. The acceleration is exponential.
And it's not just doing existing tasks faster. Over a quarter of the AI tasks they reported were things that, well, they wouldn't have even bothered doing manually before. Things like generating cleanup scripts, building quick dashboards.
Right, tasks that were previously considered not worth the manual effort.
And this speed is enabled by the complexity of the model itself. The study found Claude code now chains together about 20 distinct actions before it needs human input.
Which is up from just 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And let's just clarify what chaining actions means for you. This isn't just generating one line of code. No, not at all. This is taking a complex prompt, something like analyze last week's sales data, summarize it, and then draft a follow-up email to the team listing 3 bugs to fix.
Yeah.
And the AI executes all 20 steps, from data retrieval to the final email draft, without the engineer having to stop and check and reprompt after every single stage.
You're handing off entire multi-step workflows. But these immense gains are, well, they're sharply counterbalanced by some really serious employee concerns.
Yeah, the study highlights these rising worries about skill decay, about career uncertainty, and fading mentorship opportunities.
This feels like the human cost of that IPO race we were talking about. The pressure to internalize their own tools and automate so rapidly just to justify a $300 billion valuation. It seems to be forcing them to adopt AI faster than their own workforce can adapt.
And the most striking quote from the interviews was from one engineer who said, "It feels like I'm coming to work every day to put myself out of a job."
That is a profoundly powerful statement.
It is. It reminds us that even at the very frontier of AI, the fundamental human reaction to mass automation, that uncertainty of self-replacement, it's just unavoidable. The philosophical creation is, in a way, threatening the physical creator.
Okay, let's transition now to the broader landscape. The tool updates, the infrastructure news. We'll slow the pace down a little here to let you absorb the context for these updates because they show where the immediate market is moving.
And we are seeing massive moves in agent development, things designed to integrate AI into existing enterprise workflows. Google, for instance, has launched Workspace Studio.
This lets users create pretty powerful no-code agents tailored to their own specific business needs. The setup for business and enterprise plans is remarkably simple. You describe the task to Gemini, specify the action, and select the apps to use.
Which automates these complex multi-step tasks across Google Workspace and other tools. It means an AI can now natively handle things like checking inventory in one app, drafting a summary in Gmail, and then scheduling a follow-up in Calendar, all inside the Google ecosystem.
Meanwhile, OpenAI is focusing on a persistent problem: trust. They're exploring an experiment where an LLM is designed to sort of confess how well it followed instructions after it gives you a response.
The idea is to make validation and fact-checking easier for the user by providing an internal measure of its own confidence or doubt. It won't eliminate mistakes, of course, but it gives the user a tool to better gauge reliability.
Shifting over to new global models, we saw the release of Kling 2.6 from a major Chinese startup. This new AI video model has one feature that's really worth noting: native synced audio generation.
For both text-to-video and image-to-video, that's significant because syncing audio accurately has, for so long, been a secondary post-production step for a lot of video models.
And ByteDance upgraded their image model, introducing Seedream 4.5. This version has much improved text rendering, which is a huge quality-of-life upgrade for anyone writing prompts, and it has this unique ability to blend up to 10 separate reference images into a single output.
On the infrastructure side, it's all about speed. A new startup called Recursive, founded by former Google researchers, is focused on building a self-improving AI system. It's designed to radically reduce custom chip design timelines.
And they claim they can shorten this process from years down to just weeks.
And to connect that for you, Just think about the current bottleneck. Chip design dictates model size and performance. If you can accelerate that hardware foundation from years to weeks, you accelerate the entire frontier of AI research at an almost unimaginable speed.
For enterprise cloud users, AWS introduced new features for Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker AI.
These new features are really about simplifying advanced model customization and fine-tuning, making those complex tasks much more accessible for different teams across a big organization.
We're also seeing vital security steps. Perplexity open-sourced a tool called BrowseSafe. It's designed specifically for protecting AI browser assistants from, well, a major vulnerability.
That's the risk of malicious instructions being hidden inside web pages, which could hijack the AI assistant if it browses that page.
And finally, just to ground all this in the real world, the latest Visa report found that nearly half of U.S. consumers used AI during the last holiday shopping season.
Mostly for things like price comparison and product research. It shows AI isn't just for coding anymore. It's rapidly becoming a mainstream commerce utility.
So now let's move to the actionable side of this. A quick rundown of trending tools you can explore right now.
For video and image creation, the models we just mentioned are key. You've got ByteDance's Seedream 4.5 for that high-fidelity image editing and blending. There's Kling 2.6, the new video model that integrates native synced audio.
And Runway Gen-4.5 is continuing its run as Runway's new top-rated video model for cinematic generation.
On the productivity side, we have tools focused on language barriers. Lufe is a really useful tool that can translate entire web pages, PDFs, even images into any language. It solves that frustrating problem of translating complex documents without losing all the formatting.
There are also tools for managing the increasing complexity of daily work. BitterBot acts as an all-in-one AI assistant. It's especially strong in structured research and data analysis, helping users tackle complex daily challenges.
And Managelify is focused specifically on creation and management tasks that involve collaboration. It kind of streamlines workflows between you, your team, and your external customers. It's like an operational layer for your AI interactions.
And finally, a tool that's trending because of immediate real-world demand, Ryter Pro. It's used to humanize AI-generated text.
And the reason people are paying for this is pretty straightforward. They want to bypass common AI detection tools, whether that's for academic work, for SEO content, or just creating content that reads with a more natural, less predictable flow.
So to synthesize everything we've unpacked today, the core tension running through the AI world is now, I think, explicit. This massive financial pressure cooker of the IPO race, chasing hundreds of billions of dollars, is running parallel to these deep internal philosophical and workforce shifts happening inside the labs themselves.
And these updates, they might seem disparate, but from Anthropic's valuation chase to that engineer worrying about skill decay, they all demonstrate how quickly the foundations of this entire industry are being both cemented and, at the same time, challenged by the sheer speed of automation.
Which raises the final and I think most important question for you to consider. Given the speed at which Claude Code is chaining actions, now up to 20 without human input, and considering those survey results about tasks that were not worth the manual effort, what are the next tasks in your own workflow?
The ones you currently postpone or find too tedious, which of those will become fully automated within the next 6 months?
It's clear that AI's current trajectory is just relentlessly redefining what we consider worthwhile human work. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you found this analysis valuable, please follow and share this deep dive with your colleagues.